Hey guys, Petzergling here alongside Daz, bringing you the final game of the Group of Death, and wow is all I have to say. I mean, every single game here, totally living up to the expectations, and just an epic clash at the finals. I maybe would have liked to see Firebat Hero Jaedong in the finals, but that was just assuming that Flash would get out. But I think Flash versus Jaedong will not disappoint whatsoever on Neo Harmony, built for a long end macro game. And this map has been somewhat favored towards Zerg, at least versus Protoss, but we haven't seen too many Terran versus Zergs on this map. And if Jaedong keeps up the level of play that he played versus Firebat Hero, I definitely think he's in a real good position. But knowing the map, knowing the play styles of these two players, Flash is a very strong macro player, so I definitely, it's a possibility to see both of these players come out on top. But I think I really think this is going to be a close, amazing game here on Neo Harmony. Just for sinking, we got 1-0, and we're off. So, I can't imagine that Flash is going to play very similar to what Firebat Hero did with the real mid-game aggression build, but it's really up in the air. We got Jaedong spawning. I think they're going to switch the colors, maybe, because he's peach brown, but maybe not. But Jaedong, regardless, and the Zerg in the bottom right, Flash and the red Terran in the bottom left. And so they switched him, and Jaedong's going to scout Flash right away, but close positions, which I think would favor Flash a little bit, unless Jaedong decides to go for a hatchery aggression build, which he's been known to do against Flash. And we've seen Jaedong go for lots of early 2-hatch Mutalisks, but once again, I think this is kind of a trend that I don't like to see on maps, is when you have your mineral line just so well protected in your main. There's really no way that Jaedong can harass the SCVs in really either base. The expansion is at least okay for Mutalisk harass, but it's going to be real difficult for 2-hatch Muta build. So yeah, so I think I'm going to say Flash is my favorite to take out of this game.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. I think Flash has been the player who's playing better recently. And even though Jaedong played great against Firebat Hero in that game, I just gotta pick Flash. I think he's just overall the better player lately. And Jaedong has been in kind of a mini slump. So those are the kind of reasons that I think Flash probably gonna take out. And also the fact that, like you mentioned, the map, it's gonna be very hard for Jaedong to Mutalisk harass in the map, and that's really what his strength is. And if you take that away from Jaedong, he's still the best Zerg player, but to a much lesser extent. That's really the strongest part of his game, is the Mutalisk harass. But can I just say how awesome is it that we're seeing Flash and Jaedong fighting one game to the death to see who advances in the MSL? As sad as I'm gonna be to see what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know how awesome it is, though. It's good when you get to see the game, but how much more epic would it have been if we would have saw a best of 3, or God forbid, a best of 5 between these two players, But this, I guess, we're gonna see one strong standard game from both players. So, and at least we get to see some players. I don't know if I'm as happy with players like Tempest or Frozian advancing, but they definitely played okay. And Flash got the luck. He scouted Jaedong right away, so he's going to be able to put his command center down. But Jaedong, once again, scouting Flash. Good move. I like that move. Jaedong scouting now. A nice harasser with the drones. He's going to force Flash. Nice micro there, forcing Flash to pull 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs out for Flash. So Jaedong doing lots of damage here.
Oh, man.
Microing, and Flash building the command center off center there. So, nice economic harassment done. And that's why I think that, although a lot of Zerg players don't tend to do it, a drone scout's not that bad. And I think that was an early extractor from Jaedong, so we are going to see most likely a 2-hatch aggressive build here from Jaedong.
Yeah, it looks like that is what he's going for, in spite of the fact that really being hard to Mutalisk harass on this map. But, who knows? It's Jaedong. He could probably pull it off. But I just wanted to mention, it sucks that we're gonna have to see one of these players lose, but I'm just how often do you get to see a matchup of this magnitude? You know what I mean? How often do you get to see this in the group stage? It's really just a totally epic game, and the feeling that I get from these two players having to fight to the death right now is, it's just so much on the line. Both of these guys have such incredibly high expectations on them. Losing in the group stages of any Star League is a huge disappointment. So these guys are definitely going to play their best right here. We're going to see probably the best games that were not the best games I've ever played, but I'm definitely expecting to get like, you know, the full 100% effort all out from both players here. Although Jaedong so far looks like he's taken the advantage with that command center, but I have to wonder what Flash was doing, sending out 3 SCBs and then building the command center off center anyway. That was kind of a little bit of a blunder, but not a huge deal.
Oh no!
Zergling's already out.
What is he doing with that drone?
Oh man, is he gonna hide another expansion? Like, what is this guy in his proxy expansion?
Is he gonna take it? Jaedong is like gonna go for a run, but God, I hate when
oh wow, he actually got it.
This is so fucking annoying. This is really, really good for Jaedong. He's gonna be able to knock these Marines down, which whatever aggressive strategy Jaedong decides to go for. I mean, it's gonna be, yeah. So he's got Zergling speed. You know, I'm surprised he didn't wait a little bit for that run by, but nice timing there. And this is gonna hurt Flash a lot. I mean, if Jaedong decides to go for the early Mutalisk, Flash is not gonna be able to have turrets up. If he goes for lurkers, he's not gonna have Marines in position. And Jaedong looks like moving in with the Zerglings, deciding to trade them off. Nice SCV pull from Flash, though. That was impressive. That was, you know, a really clutch play. When you're playing against Zerglings that are in your base, you're already taking economic damage, and you know that was a really good, well-timed move there to pull those SCVs. I mean, you can't just pull SCVs off to fight against Zerglings like that, but it was just really well-timed. Engineering bay going up. I mean, that's going to be, I think, barely on it's going to be barely on time for the Spire. I mean, if he knows it's a Spire, he can invest some in turrets, but I mean, it's going to be tough. It'll be up to Jaedong. I think he's definitely, you know, it's going to be a disadvantage for me to harass on this map. But, I mean, with the Zergling run by and the 2-hatch, I think that really kind of evens it out. So I think, you know, even though Flash kind of had the inherent advantage, I think it's pretty much even out from this point.
I would say Jaedong has definitely taken the lead in this game. I mean, even though he's 2-hatching, his drone count is pretty good. He's definitely hurt Flash's economy with the Zergling run by a little bit, and he also slowed him down with the drone harass early on. So I think it's looking pretty good for Jaedong. Although I'm still left wondering about his choice of what expansions to take. I mean, this expansion that he's taking here is right beside the Terran's base. I mean, it's literally right on his doorstep. I mean, it's going to take Flash less than 10 seconds to push from his natural to that expansion. I mean, he's basically relying on the fact that he's going to have map control for the entire game. I mean, if he loses map control even for 20 seconds, he's going to lose that base. So, I don't know. I mean, early on, it's not going to be a problem. As soon as he gets lurkers, it's going to be really hard to break. Once he gets to mid-game, that base is almost going to be like a throwaway. So, I don't know what he's really planning to do with that.
Some real, you know, conservative Muta play here. Jaedong just playing careful. Just like you said, he needs to keep that map control. Yeah, Flash, you know, he doesn't have any turrets directly in his main, but he has a lot of good perimeter turrets. Pulling some Marines now. Marine range should be finishing shortly. I mean, the 2-hatch Mutalisk is going to come out a little bit before Marine range. And Jaedong looks like going straight for the gas. So, I mean, going 2-hatch Muta into a third gas right away and not producing a lot more drones. I think Jaedong might actually decide to go for Guardians here, which would be pretty surprising. And Flash, you know, now building up a pretty sizable force of medic Marines. I mean, Jaedong's going to have to go in and engage these now, and he's going to be forced to kind of play hit and run with Flash. He needs to keep the medic Marine count down as far as he can. He needs to keep map control here, and I think that's, oh, it's actually Hyder Den, so he is going to go into lurkers. So, you know, scratch what I said about Guardians. He may actually not go into that, but he's definitely going to go into that fast hive because he got that third gas so early. I mean, that was a standard time after 2-hatch Muta, but, you know, it was a 2-hatch Muta. He got it out very early, and his drone count, like you said, was pretty good, but nice placement there from Flash. Good turrets. Now, he killed two of the turrets, but, I mean, it does its job. I mean, 2 turrets really don't cost that much, and it took some damage on Jaedong's Mutalisk, and it buys Flash's Marines time. And Flash is actually building quite a bit of turrets. I mean, he's got, I think, a total of 5 in his main. He's building another one there, and he's got 4 in his natural. So Jaedong is doing sufficient economic damage with these Mutalisks, even though it may not appear so. But, you know, just like you said, I think Flash, the best move for Flash right now is if he knows that expansion is there, which seeing the minimap he doesn't, but if he can put a timing attack on that expansion right now before lurkers can come out, I think he would go drastically ahead. But I mean, it's going to take a lot of insight for him to do that, especially, you know, we see Flash's SCV moving out. He's looking for an expansion out there, but you know, it's right next to him.
It's going to be the last place he scouts. Yeah, you would never check there.
So, I mean, I guess a good move there. He's definitely going to get lurkers on time. It looks like 5 turrets from Jaedong, or from, against Jaedong, sorry. And wow, Flash isn't going to see that third base, so it's going to be really difficult to hit that time.